Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is brought to you by Hudson Regional Hospital, and you can find out more information from our friends at this link below, and also by the Dream Project. And you can find out more information about our friends there at this link below. But today we are starting our program for the first time ever in actually somebody's residence. We're actually in an apartment over here, which is shocking. And we are joined by David Suk, who is the founder and CEO of St. Luna. David, how are you today? Thank you for inviting us to your home here.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for letting me be a part of this.
I mean, I think, anything that involves alcohol, I'll go anywhere, David. I'm there. You know, you said it's alcohol, and I'm there. So if you can explain to the audience what actually St. Luna is.
Yeah, so St. Luna is a charcoal filtered moonshine that's made with molasses and rye. So I'm going to make you a cocktail today that is going to be very daiquiri-like, and we're going to play up a lot of the molasses to give you just a little bit sweeter of a cocktail. And
I have to ask you, when you said moonshine, you did reach out to us on our social media platform. By the way, follow the Pulse on Instagram. Follow St. Luna on Instagram. And you said moonshine, and the first thing I thought of was, it's almost an antiquated drink. I mean,
it is.
And what gave you the idea to make it a little more commercialized?
Well, so all of the moonshines that you see on the market now typically are a little bit, they're just not very good, right? They're packaged pretty poorly. And I just thought that if I had the opportunity to elevate the entire experience, make beautiful cocktails, make it super incredibly smooth, and elevate the packaging, then I could create my own category. And if you think about how alcohol has sort of had this premiumization in every spirit category, there was a time when tequila was down market and Patron came in and premiumized it and told everybody, this is what the new experience for tequila is going to be. And then that paves the way for all of your smaller, crafty type brands. And I thought that could be me. You know, moonshine is underutilized. It's very hard to make drinks with, whereas with this, you can.
And incredible. And I can't wait. We love drinking on camera, folks, as everybody knows on the Pulse. And David, so basically you spoke about your idea for coming up with the concept of St. Luna. Mm-hmm. How old is the company? When did you start this? Where did you start this? And so on and so forth.
We're new. We're very, very new. And I hit the market May of 2019. Wow. So we just started to get a little bit of traction. And then COVID, of course, just shut everything down. Mm-hmm. So we're clawing back, though. You know, we're scrappy. We're a really, really amazing product. And it's something I believe in. So we're starting to get accounts back. We're starting to see things open up a little bit more.
And speaking of accounts, I mean, where could people find your product so far in Hoboken? Any liquor stores? Obviously online in bars.
Oh, absolutely. So we're everywhere. And we've obviously had to shift a lot to online to kind of battle what's happening.
Like everybody else, right? Yeah.
But we're at Wine Dad's in Hoboken. We're at Madison Bar and Grill. We're at Dino and Harry's. You can find us online at reservebar.com.
Excellent. Okay. So now talk to me about the drink you're going to make to us, and then I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, I'm sure you're familiar with the place Antique Bar and Bakery.
Of course, yeah.
They have incredible cocktails, and their lead bartender, their mixologist, Stephanie O'Neill, is a friend of mine.
Okay.
So she
Shout out
showed
to
me.
Stephanie.
Yep. She's also the mid-century mixtress on Instagram, and she has just incredible, incredible cocktails. She showed me how to make this. It's a Hemingway daiquiri with St. Luna.
Fantastic. So now he actually, when we were talking before the show, what was it, about a week ago or so, he was like, what type of drinks do you like? And I'm like, well, back in my prime days, I used to be able to drink a lot more, but I was looking for something a little sweet. Don't make fun of me, or if you do, you know, email the Pulse at at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. Anyway, and you're going to deliver, so I'm going to let you be and start making the cocktail. Absolutely.
And that is what is so super unique about St. Luna, is that I could make you an old-fashioned with this, and it's unbelievable. I can make you a Negroni, which is unbelievable. But today we're going to do a Hemingway daiquiri. So that is actually going to be 2 ounces of St. Luna.
Look at the nice cups and the measuring.
I know. I had to bring out the good stuff for you.
Again, we were in David's residence here.
So 2 ounces of St. Luna. It's going to be 0.75 of fresh lime juice. And I put it here so I don't get it all over the place.
Wow, I could smell that St. Luna. That actually smells great.
We are going to do 0.75 of simple syrup.
Simple syrup, what is that? I'm just
that is just equal parts of sugar and water.
I figured that. Okay, great.
And You can actually do a lot with simple syrup. You can infuse it with different fruits if you let it steep, different aromatics, and that tends to change the drink quite a bit. We're going to do 1 full ounce of fresh grapefruit juice.
You notice he keeps saying fresh, folks. I mean, he's
I
stopping at...
Squeezing limes
I was
all
going to
day.
say, I appreciate it. Wow. It's just Peter B. That's it. Go ahead, sorry.
And this is Luxardo. So Luxardo is a cherry liqueur. And we're going to do just about 0.75 of that as well. So I add my ice at the end just so it doesn't water things down.
Fantastic.
Add a little bit of ice. And then we shake.
Shake, shake, shake. I'm sorry, I stopped.
It's always... You could do a little dance with it.
I was trying to sing and move here, you know? By the way, David's got 2 very, very, very cute dogs, and they're being so good during this segment so far, and I guess it's kudos to their father here.
Oh, they're desperate for the attention. And then we strain it into a coupe glass.
Oh my goodness, that looks phenomenal.
There you go. And then you can garnish it with just a lime wedge.
Oh,
And then you're ready to go.
I think you have to pour a glass for yourself, right?
I will. So this is mine.
Fantastic.
Do a nice little taste.
There you go. So I'm going to pick it up. I am going to cheers you. Salute, as we say,
Cheers.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's try it out. Oh, wow, that is good.
Yep, and that is moonshine.
That is fantastic. What I love about it is you could taste the freshness of the grapefruits, taste the freshness of the lime, and also taste the moonshine. I have to be honest with you, I was a little weary about moonshine because it's so, like I said earlier, such a thing of the past that people used to make in Prohibition days and so on and so forth. But this is delicious.
And everybody is leery of moonshine until you try it.
Exactly. Don't knock it till you try it. I'm going to keep drinking. Go ahead.
Yes, please. And it's incredibly smooth. So you're drinking something that's actually 50% alcohol.
Oh, goodness.
So it's
I have
more.
to film another couple of segments here tonight. Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
it's more than a vodka, and it's still, even at 50%, much smoother than you would a vodka spirit.
You hit the nail on the head. Smooth. It goes down.
Yes.
Sometimes, you can have different vodkas, different types of whatever hard liquor, and you feel the burning sensation as you go down. I feel none of that. I almost feel refreshed.
And you get you don't get the tartness from the grapefruit, which a lot of people are nervous about.
Okay.
When you hear grapefruit in a cocktail, it's very balanced. It's kind of silky almost.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is fantastic. We have about a minute or a little over a minute left in the segment. Tell us where people can find your products, where they can find you on social media, and anything else you want to tell our audience.
Yes, absolutely. So we are St. Luna Spirits on Instagram, and that's all spelled out. We are on reservebar.com. Drizzly.com, Caskers.com. If there's a .com, we're on it. Locally in Hoboken, we are at Dino and Harry's. We're at Madison Bar and Grill. We're at Wine Dad's. And we're continuing to expand as things open up more and more.
Great. And social media handles?
Social media is St. Luna Spirits.
On
All spelled out. Instagram. And then Facebook is St. Luna Moonshine.
St. Luna Moonshine. This is why I ask, because people might,
Yes,
type in the wrong
follow
thing.
us, please.
And I have to be completely honest with you. Again, I was a little weary. This is unbelievable. I mean, it just tastes so fresh, as I said. And
thank you.
Yeah, no, and the ice works, and I'm just going to keep drinking.
Yeah, thank you.
50% alcohol. David Sook, thank you for joining us. Founder
Thank
and CEO of St. Luna. Make sure you visit his website, visit his social media. I'm sure you'll have...
We have recipes,
and all that.
Places
Exactly.
you can buy us, all listed online.
Excellent. Thank you for inviting us into your
Yes,
home.
thank
And
you.
salute again.
Cheers.
We'll be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at the Pulse with Peter B. and make sure you like and follow us on there. We're constantly updating that page with new information. And also on Instagram, for all you grammars out there, make sure you follow us there as well. We're constantly putting these really cool stories, previewing all of our episodes. And if you don't want to DM us through our Instagram or message us through our Facebook, you can always email us. And that's at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, welcome back to The Pulse. I'm John Heides from Hudson County View, and I'm joined today with New Jersey State Republican Committeeman, Josh Sotomayor-Einstein. Josh, good to see you again. So today, let's talk a little bit about one of your favorite subjects right here, COVID-19 restrictions at bars and restaurants. As you know, the governor made the announcement that tomorrow at 8 a.m. we're going to see indoor capacity at our dining establishments and our watering holes, if you will, go up to 35% indoors, and there's no more 10 p.m. curfew for the indoor experience. So what do you think about all that?
Well, first, it's a pleasure to be with you here hosting. I think you're definitely a better host than Peter Biancamano can ever be, and just an honor. Secondly, I think the gubernatorial decree is always a good thing when it leads to more common sense. But it's a little bit like his obsession with virtue signaling. 25 to 35% is almost so small a jump that it's meaningless for the bottom line of the service employees, that are our servers, that are our bussers, that are bartenders, that are hosts and hostesses at restaurants and bars across the state of New Jersey. Really what the state of New Jersey needed was at least 50%. And the fact that, he's done this as well as extend the cap from 10 to normal hours, or no end limit in terms of time except for regular regulations, really just shows that he did it right before the football game, the big game that people watch called the Super Bowl. Sorry, I forgot what it was called. Really just shows how full of hot air he is, because what's the reason? There's no change in the data. It's because it's the Super Bowl, and because as we get towards the end of the Murphy administration, he wants to seem like he's doing something. That's why he's been sitting on tons of funds from the federal government as opposed to dispersing them when it comes to COVID aid, because he wants to be seen down the line as someone that did something. But I think the people of New Jersey, especially the people that work in the service industry, are going to remember that Murphy kept the economy on a slow roll for longer than it was needed to fight COVID. And I think he's going to go down for this.
Well, all right. So you said a lot as usual, but look, let's go back for a second. So he said at his press briefing on Wednesday at the Trenton War Memorial that this has nothing to do with the Super Bowl, and that this, data follows dates, as he said, for many months, almost a year now. And he talked about hospitalizations being down. I forgot if he said 10 or 20% since last month. But he said, again, a data-based decision. Whether or not you believe that is a different story. But it's interesting that we're talking about the Super Bowl in the context of politics. It doesn't happen often. But this actually started with Bayonne Assemblyman Nick Shravolati. Of course, he's on the left side of the aisle talking about this in a letter to the governor and the health commissioner, of course, Judy Persicelli. And then we heard some people on the right side of the aisle, of course, your party, Declan O'Scanlan, and what was the other one? Tony Bucco. Yes. And he had a petition going, and they all were on the same page. And the governor's claiming that none of this had anything to do with this decision. So, I mean, you basically already touched on that, but just wanted to give some context. So, on the local level, right here in Hudson County, we saw Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop and Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala, who didn't agree on this about 3 months ago, which isn't that long, even in politics here. But they agree now, and they said we're not going to impose any local restrictions, and we're going to stick with the governor's lead. So what's your take on that?
Well, I think when we look at the actual data, because you're pointing out that Governor Murphy talks about data, but he hasn't actually released the rubric that his administration is allegedly using. I think it's more like a spin the wheel and figure out what they're going to say every day sort of thing. And also, fawning over the fact, or rather reveling in the fact that people are fawning over them, especially many, not all, but many of the media when it comes to the often press conferences. But when we actually look at the numbers economically, we see that 3 out of 10 small businesses in the state of New Jersey are dead, are not going to reopen. And obviously, New Jersey is a state full of many entrepreneurs, so I know that there'll be new businesses that arise, but that doesn't help the people that are currently out of work, and that's something that unfortunately our state under Governor Murphy is leading the nation in when it comes to unemployment numbers. Much of the rest of the country is starting to recover, and New Jersey is lagging behind. Now, we can look at the differences approaches between states. We can look at, like you're talking about, the differences approaches before this recent decree by the governor, just between Hoboken and Jersey City, like you're saying, with Mayor Bala in Hoboken and Mayor Fulop in Jersey City. And though I'm no fan of Mayor Fulop in Jersey City, you have to give credit where credit is due, even when it's on the other side of the aisle. And when mayors, including Mayor Bala, was saying we're going to shut down indoor dining after 10 p.m., Mayor Fulop said, and I've said it before, that he was right to say this, that COVID doesn't just come out after 10 p.m. Because he was right then, and he's still right now. COVID isn't a vampire. And it'd be nice if our leaders, whether it was Bala, whether it was Murphy, were actually led by the science as opposed to essentially getting their jollies on the almost unlimited power that they have now. I mean, it's been almost a year since we've had regular rule in the state of New Jersey, and we elect people to our state legislature, state assembly, and the state senate, and the governor's office to rule together. Not to have one of them declare an emergency month after month after month after month, wouldn't you say?
Well, look, obviously, like there's a executive branch and there's a legislative branch, and to your point, ever since the state of emergency started, yeah, I mean the legislative branch has largely been quiet. Obviously, they have not opposed any of these dozens of executive orders by the governor, and that seems to be commonplace across the country. I mean, there doesn't really seem to be much pushback at all from what I've seen. Obviously, if you know a case or two, feel free to throw it out there. But yeah, that seems to be the case. The executive branch is ruling with very little, if any, checks and balances as a whole. The other thing that I wanted to point out is, as I touched on for a moment, you remember in October, you'd said that Mayor Bala had a plan to keep that curfew in place. I think it was midnight at the time, not 10 yet. But it only lasted for about a month. But be that as it may, and Mayor Fulop, was staunchly against it, even when Newark, Patterson, and other large cities joined on with Mayor Bala. So, I mean, that's kind of an interesting dynamic, I think, for them to see a 180 in sorts, and now Fulop and Bala are on the same page.
Well, I totally hear what you're saying, but I think when it comes to Mayor Bala, it's too little, too late. And when it comes to Governor Murphy, also too little, too late.
And, while we're on Hoboken, Josh, probably could have used a whole segment on this, but when we're just talking about the Monarch settlement, I mean, look, it's really complicated. We don't have nearly enough time to go through it point by point as I would like to, but really, I think there's two main takeaways. I mean, you have Iron State Development. Many people know them as Applied, of course, the Barry family, and you have the city of Hoboken. And there was at one point going to be a DPW garage in the 1st Ward. Now there's going to be a temporary location in the 5th Ward. And between 8th and Monroe Streets, around that intersection, Iron State is going to hand over 1.4 acres of land to turn it into a park. Again, it's a really complex issue, and the settlement's quite voluminous, I would say, by Hoboken standards. But that's really what we know. We don't know what costs are going to be. We don't know if there's going to be, for example, will there be renderings? Will there be transfer fee, et cetera? There's really not a whole lot of statistics as far as dollars and cents, but that's what we know, and that's what the council approved last night. So any closing thoughts before we go here?
Well, yeah, just real quickly, because I know we don't have a lot of time. I think there's two things to note. I think that the process for this, because this was a flub up of a past administration that didn't have a public hearing, the result is essentially that the public doesn't have as much say as it would have in other deals with developers. And then the other side is, I know there's some amount of money that the developer is supposed to kick in terms of the renovation of some of that land to a park, but I can guarantee you this, the taxpayer is going to end up paying, because that money is not going to be enough.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're going to take a break from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Make sure you watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. And also, every Sunday, 9:30 a.m., we post our new episode and our segments, our individual segments, on our YouTube page. You're not going to want to miss. Welcome back to the Pulse of Peter Biancamano. Back in the host chair. We want to thank John Highness of the Hudson County View for guest hosting our political segment, last segment. Anybody that can deal with Josh Sotomayor or Einstein deserves a gold star, because we know how awful Josh is. But anyway, moving on, we have our sports majesty in the house again today.
And I'm glad I'm on your good side. For the record, let me just say.
About? Josh is on my good side, too. I'm being very kind to him.
All right, that's a good point.
Anyway, and that's Matt Waymire, our sports insider. Matt, pleasure seeing you. How are you?
Pleasure to see you. I'm pumped.
I
I'm
love
ready.
it. Why? Because it's only like the biggest game of the year this Sunday.
Some football game is happening, I heard. We
Right?
might discuss it.
Also known as Super Bowl 55. Can you believe in that?
I can't, no.
I mean, it's like the years just are flying by. All
really
right.
are.
So of course, Kansas City against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is the first team ever.
Or Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay,
Tampa
correct,
Bay.
correct, to play in their home stadium
Yes.
for the Super Bowl. So
Yes.
congratulations to them. Why don't we start on how they got here? Did you ever think that Tom Brady was going to make it to the Super Bowl this year with a new team and a new coach?
You know, I think I was like a lot of people where I thought, you know, the Buccaneers would be better with him under center. They'd be improved. They might be a playoff team. Did I see them in the Super Bowl? No.
Exactly.
You know, and it's just it just goes to show, like, and I'm sure that, you know, Tom Brady's one of these guys that, like, he hears the naysayers like, wait, you're going to the Buccaneers? Are you kidding? You're leaving Belichick? You're like, you're nuts, dude.
You're
This
leaving
is
the system?
the system, the Patriot way, you know, and everybody thinking that, like, this is going to be a stain on his legacy and what a horrible way to end a career, but, you know, to go off in the sunset with an organization like this. And he said, I'll show you. And he did.
And did he ever?
10th Super Bowl appearance with this team, you know, with 9, obviously with the Patriots, 1 now with Tampa Bay. Credit to him. I mean, are they going to win? I don't know. I think that Kansas City is clearly the better team, but I don't put anything past this guy anymore. I don't doubt him. You can't go against him because, like I said, he's one of these guys. He's got not chips on his shoulders, but boulders on his shoulders because he takes every slight like Michael Jordan and uses it as fuel to prove people wrong, and he might take this all the way and get ring number 7. I'm not going to doubt him. I think, again, Kansas City is favored. I think they're better, but I'm not doubting Tom Brady.
And Kansas City was expected to be there. They're the defending
Yes.
champions. Patrick Mahomes, biggest contract in sports history. I mean, and, you know, I actually think, Matt, that Tampa Bay got to the Super Bowl with greater ease than Kansas City.
Okay, we might agree to disagree.
All right, okay, fine.
on this one. But having said that,
Well, they made
you
it
know,
look easy, let's just say.
they did.
That's what I meant
Yeah,
to say.
they did make it look easy. And Kansas City, like you said, I don't think there was ever any doubt that they were the class of the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think what did they lose? 2 or 3 games in the regular season, but it was never
But they
any.
played a lot of games close, too, Matt. I mean,
They did, but you know
Right.
what? Like, I don't look at that as a negative because I think that so many games in the NFL nowadays come down to one score or one possession or 2 or 3 turning point plays within a game where, like, I'm not going to look at a score and say, oh, you only won by 3, you only won by 4 or 5 points, because a lot of it comes down to who executes when the game is on the line, who comes up big in the fourth quarter, and that separates, you know, the average from the good and the good from the great. So I think that winning the close games, I think, is more of a positive than a negative.
all right, let's talk about the matchup, right?
do it.
I mean, nobody really wants to talk about the halftime show. Anyway, what does the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to do to win this game?
It's funny because, you know, Tom Brady's been doing his press conferences all week, and he talked to Osi Umenyiora, the former New York Giant, and obviously they reminisced about the Giants ruining their perfect season back in 2007, and the reason why the Giants pulled off that huge upset was because they pressured Tom Brady. It was something that hadn't happened all year, that they had that wall of an offensive line. The Giants had Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, JPP,
that
Michael
D-line,
Strahan.
it was terrific.
It was maybe the greatest D-line of all time.
Of all time. I completely agree.
Yeah, if not the greatest, one of. They got to Brady and they won the game, pulled off maybe the biggest upset in Super Bowl history, or at least one of. So now you fast forward all these years later, I think that is going to be the factor or the reason why Tampa Bay could be favored, because they, I think, could pressure Mahomes, as good as he is. If they get him out of the pocket and he's good on the run, he's good, with his mobility, throwing on the run, we know that. But if they make things chaotic enough and they get in the backfield enough to throw him off just enough, I think Tampa Bay has a chance. So again, the thing that was Brady's kryptonite all those years ago could play in his favor now, where he's got the defensive line to get to the other quarterback.
It's so interesting that you say that, because everybody's talking about Tom Brady, but kudos to Todd Bowles, the
Yes.
former Jets, head coach
Yeah.
of the New York Jets, now the defensive coordinator down in Tampa Bay,
Yep.
and that Tampa defense. I actually think that they were the Achilles to get Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, and Todd Bowles said nope. He went down there and he reformatted that defense, and they've got a lot of, not like big household names on that defense, but you watch them play. They're flying all over the field. They're pressuring the quarterback. They're getting after guys. They're disrupting offenses, and if they can do that to an offense the caliber of Kansas City, I really like their chances. We saw what they did to Aaron Rodgers. We saw what they did to Drew Brees, two of the elite quarterbacks in the game, two of the elite offenses in the game. And, again, credit to Todd Bowles, and they actually asked him about his Jets tenure a few days ago. He took the high road. He said, I love my time with the Jets, met a lot of great people, had a great experience, but just didn't win enough.
And,
exactly. He's a class act. He's a great coach. And if he cooks up a great game plan against Patrick Mahomes, could be trouble for KC.
And let's talk about KC. So KC, of course, going for back-to-backs. What do they have to do to win the game?
Mahomes has got to be Mahomes.
Plain and simple.
It's as simple as that.
Make that $500 million. $500 million?
Over
$500 million.
Over $500 million. And you won't find any naysayers about that contract. The guy is worth every penny.
Oh, I agree.
When you look at this game is not Brady versus Mahomes as much as everybody wants to play it out to be. It's Brady versus the KC defense and Mahomes against the Tampa Bay defense, obviously. But the marquee headline is, Brady versus Mahomes. Is this the passing of the torch? It could be. But, for the weapons that Brady has, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce, I mean, that's as good of a wide receiver tight end combo as you're going to find in the NFL. Those are two huge weapons for Patrick Mahomes. And like I said, even if that Buccaneers defensive line can exert some pressure on Mahomes and get into the backfield, Mahomes is so good.
So good.
That he, scrambled out of the pocket. He can throw on the run. There is so very little that you can do to really throw him off his game. So I think that, if the Buccaneers are going to win, they're going to have to outscore Kansas City, because I just don't see, for as great of a game plan as Todd Bowles could cook up, I just don't see any defense holding Patrick Mahomes, under, say, 24 points. I really don't.
Easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
absolutely.
Always.
So, Matt, we have a little over a minute here. Let's talk a little bit about, there's this notion in the NFL by hiring young coaches. Why don't we talk about the two coaches in this Sunday's matchup? You got the two veterans, Bruce Arians versus Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Just incredible. Because the NFL's marketing, of course, the experienced Tom Brady against the younger Patrick Mahomes. But if it wasn't for these coaches, these teams would not be there.
No, of course not. Andy Reid, he came up short so many times. He was always the bridesmaid. Finally got the trophy, got the ring last year, and everybody, this is how beloved Andy Reid is. Even Eagles fans were happy for him. Of course, the former Eagles head coach.
And the Eagles fans are never happy.
They're never happy. Even when they're winning, they're never happy. So for that fan base to be happy for Andy Reid tells you what kind of a great guy he is. Bruce Arians, he had some rocky times with Tom Brady in the beginning. They ironed things out. Great to see that, the two old guys, and I'd say that in air quotes, being at the helm of this thing, and one of them's going to be very happy come Sunday night.
All right, back against the Hudson River over here, Matt. Who do you got this Sunday and the score?
Only because we're the same age, and I can't root against them. I'm going Tampa Bay. I still think Kansas City is a better team. I like Brady getting ring number 7.
Score? I love
Boy.
doing this to you.
30-24.
30-24, great game. That's what we like to hear.
That's
Matt
right.
Waymeyer, our sports insider here on The Pulse every week. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
And have fun watching the game. I know I am.
I will.
Exactly. Folks, today's show was brought to you by the Hudson Regional Hospital. You can find more information at the link below. Please visit it. They are very, very good people. And also The Dream Project. Also good people. And you can find more information about them at this link below. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm Peter Biancamano. Join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.
The Pulse with Peter B. is a proud partner of Eyes on NJ.